Hey guys, Big Kurt here. Welcome to the New Players Series. Can't wait to help you guys get started in this beautiful game of golf. First, I want to talk to you about some basics. We're going to talk about what the club's made up of, grip, shaft, and club head, what tells the golf ball what to do, and how we can control that. So first and foremost, the thing that tells the golf ball what to do is the club head. How this club head interacts with the ball is going to tell its direction, and it's going to tell its curvature. So how that club head interacts is going to really dictate what we want to do in our golf swing, because we always will go back to what happens with the flight of the golf ball, and then we'll try to fix ourselves from there. So the thing that controls the club face is how we hold this end of the golf club, the grip. The grip is an extremely important aspect in the game of golf, and how we put our hands on there is going to dictate what happens at the end of this object. I see a lot of players that first start off really have an issue with how to hold it and how to stand to the golf ball, and that's where the biggest detriment to their beginning really hurts them. So to start in the game of golf, we want to have the club into the fingers of our lead side. So if you're a right-handed player, your lead side will be your left arm or your left side of your body. Trail side is going to be your right side. For a left-handed player, that would be opposite, it would be reversed. Our right side would be our lead side, and our left side would be our trail side. So for the fact that most people are right-handed, I'm going to be using the right and left. For you lefties, just reverse it. So when we hold on to the golf club, we want to make sure that the club is placed into the fingers. When it's placed into the fingers, we then wrap our fingers around. From there, you're going to notice that in my lead hand, I will not have any space to place this T in that last knuckle. From there, you're going to see the index finger on my left hand and the thumb of my left hand create a little bit of a V. That V should be pointed up towards my right side. So somewhere in this area of my pec, that V will be pointed. If I point this V too far outside my right shoulder, it'll look like this. There's going to be about 4 knuckles showing on my hand. That's going to tell the club face to do this at impact, which is going to cause the golf ball to go to the left. Opposite holds true for us new golfers that are getting in there and holding on to it. We see a lot of new golfers place it into their palm, and when we do so, there's a big gap and a big space here in this last knuckle where this T will fit in. So that's going to have the V that we make with the index finger and the thumb go right more towards the center of our body, towards our sternum, and sometimes to the left side. That will have a tendency to get the club face to point to the right, which will cause the ball to go to the right. So if that's going to be how we hold it in our left hand, in our right hand, we're going to do something very similar. It's going to be into the fingers on the right hand, and then from there, that little lifeline that our thumb, between our thumb and the middle of our palm, that's where the lead side thumb will go. So we're going to hold it into the thumb, or hold it into our hands, get into our fingers, and then wrap that thumb up. You're going to notice when I do that, that these V's should match up and point towards the trail side of my body to the right. That's going to have my hands be very neutral throughout the golf swing. And that's also going to allow the club face to swing very neutral to allow us to hit some very nice straight shots. If it does have a tendency to still go to the right on you, move the V's farther to the right or farther towards your trail side. If it's having a tendency to go to the left on you, move those V's towards the middle of our body. That's as simple as controlling the club face that you really need to do. From there, we play the game of golf on the ground. So there's an element of turning, and then there's an element of lifting. So first I'm going to explain what the planes of motion, so how this club's going to move, just like if I was playing baseball. If the game of golf was played with the ball up at this level, it'd be a little bit easier for me to understand of how to move it, because I would be then swinging back and swinging forward on a plane where my body is standing completely straight up. That's a little bit easier for us to understand as we move the golf club. So first, I want you guys to start in this positioning. So we're going to start with the club into our fingers, and we're going to be swinging this object. And what I want you to pretend here is the club face is like the sunshine. As I swing to my right or to my trail side, the sun's going to go up. And as I swing forward back to my lead side, the sun's going to go down. So at the point of where the golf ball would be, that golf club will return back to where it started. The golf swing, and a little bit of a sidebar, is like a door that opens, a door that goes back to the center, and a door that closes, like an old saloon door. That's really all it is. We are the hinge, and that door opens and that door closes as I move to the right and to the left. So to do this, it's really quite simple. If I take this golf club and I place it over my chest, and I simply turn to the right, and then turn to the left, and then from there I allow my feet to move as well. Turn to the right, I turn to the left. This is what the body will do in the actual golf swing. The only thing that changes in the game of golf is that there's a forward bend because the golf ball is played onto the ground. So as we're learning how to do this, again, club into the fingers, ball's being played to where it'd be right pretty much even with my belly button. From here, I'm gonna swing the golf club up towards the sky as I turn to the right. I'm gonna swing it back and then down to the ground as I swing forward and turn to the left. The last thing I want you to add is this trail side knee is going to turn into the lead side knee. So my right knee on that forward swing is going to turn into my lead knee. Back and forward. Back and forward. As we do this is going to give you an example of what a golf swing truly is. As you start to become more comfortable swinging that golf club back and forward, back and forward, we start to bring the body a little bit lower and the club a little bit lower. So we're starting to get what we call forward bend. As we start to get a little bit of forward bend, we're playing that golf club into the air, and we're going to do the same thing, back and through, back and through. Now you're starting to get an understanding of what this golf club is going to be doing, how our body's going to be moving as we start creeping ourselves closer to the ground. So how we get to the ground, we allow our lower body to stay nice and solid, and I'm going to bend like I'm stretching my hamstrings and point that club at the ground. From here I'm going to get a little crack into my knees, get a little playfulness, and then my arms will hang from my armpits. So if I had the golf club in my hands, I'd start the same way. I'd have the golf club up above my head, so the club head's above my head, and then as I go down, I start to bend forward and then let my arms softly hang. So this will get me into a nice setup position. This will get my body ready to perform a good golf shot. So in the golf swing, since the golf ball is played on the ground, there's an element that we have to go up and down and also turn. So in this game of golf, our arms lift the golf club up as our body turns right. Our arms bring the golf club back down as our body turns left. And then our arms bring the golf club back up as our body continues to turn left. So our arms work up and down with the slight rotation of our arms and hands. And that's what makes the golf club swing properly. I see a lot of players suffer with this because they try to make the golf swing round with their arms, and they'll suck the club back, go inside, and they'll have a very difficult time. When we get to the golf swing, we want to have the arms lift so the club can point somewhere at my target downrange. So I'm trying to point this shaft at my target downrange. It's like pointing a barrel of a gun at a target. I want to point this barrel of the gun where I want the golf ball to go. From there, I bring my arms back down as I turn left, and then we go forward. So that's as simple as the golf swing is. That is the concepts of the golf swing. There's really not much else that I have to say until we talk about the actual movements. There is a bend from the waist, so we get into a forward bend perspective because the golf ball is being played on the ground. Our arms have to work the golf club up as our body turns. So when I get the golf club in the standing position, you're going to see I'll stay pretty level to the ground as I turn right and I turn left. As I take my forward bend position, you're going to start to see an element of what we call side bend. So that side bend is this literally us going this way like we're doing a crunch. So our spine will have a rotational aspect to it, a turning aspect to it, and a bending to the side and a bending forward. Occasionally we'll see a little bit of bend to the back, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So as we set up into the golf posture, we turn, and then you'll start to see that as I turn to the right, there's an element of that side bend. So as I take my backswing, I'll turn my side bend and point the club head to the ground, and then I'll go back. Oh man, look at that, I'm back in my forward bend position again. So my forward bend position, as I turn to my right, I start to turn that into side bend. If I took the side bend out, I'd look like this. I turn back, I've also taken that forward bend out. So that's how we maintain our lines in our body, our posture, during the duration of the golf swing. I turn to the right, I turn to the left. As I increase my forward bend position, I turn to the right, I stay at the same height. That allows me to get in this position here from the face-on view. We're gonna turn, and there's gonna be a little bit of that side bend position. So that's the elements of how the body moves in the duration of the swing. That's gonna be it for this section here, guys. We covered a lot. The next portion is going to be actually hitting some golf balls and how we're gonna go about doing so. Thank you.